Where I am now, better than before. Through those open doors, where I am now, where I am now, I'm in a special place. I'll tell you all the place where I am. Well, that's FYI Radio Show with your host, Miss Yolanda the Lady Hinton. I'm Ed Everett, the co-host. The music that you hear in the background is none other than Miss Yolanda the Lady Hinton, Where I Am Now. And if you'd like to see us live in WGPL 1350 studio, WMVA 88.9 FM studio, all you have to do is go to Edward Everett's Facebook page, Miss Yolanda the Lady Hinton Facebook page, and guess what? You can see us live right here in the studio. And if you want to hear us all over the world, streaming all over the world, all you have to do is go to 1350 AM, 1400 AM, go to church webcast, click and listen live. And now I want to introduce to some and present to others the host of the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world, Miss Yolanda the Lady Hinton, and a pleasant good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. E. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
What you, could you, will you be, my neighbor?
Let's welcome our neighbors. Let's welcome WGPL 1350 AM listeners.
Peace, 95.3 FM, WGPL 1350 AM, WMVA 88.9 FM, and WPCE 1400 AM.
Facebook Live is on and popping. Let's also welcome Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. And we promise we'll shout you out.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Like, share, comment, subscribe. 2 channels over there on YouTube. That's FYI Radio Show host Yolanda Hinton. And of course, Crystal Records 1, CRISTO Records 1. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, and we promise we'll shout you out.
Shout out.
I tell you what, it's Fun Friday. It's the weekend. You got any plans, Mr. E?
Nope.
No plans. Well, that no vision, no plan. That's all right because there's so much going on in the city. Down at the beach, there's some events happening, and maybe you all get a chance since our friend Hurricane Aaron has gone past us. You know, down at the beach, it's going to be a lot of fun things going on, competition, surfing, and all kind of stuff. So maybe you all will get a chance to go out there. There's some other things going on, a lot of concerts and stuff like that. A lot of stuff happening in the 757, and not
79 degrees, and the high is supposed to get about 80 and watch the wind.
Very good. So I tell you what, it's Fun Friday, and we have our current job list. Are you ready, Mr. E?
Don't forget that if your child needs a job, if your child, your husband, your boyfriend, your boo, or your baby daddy, mama, baby daddy needs a job, there's a lot of job openings in the 757. There's Lowe's, there's Home Depot, there's Federal Express, there's UPS, there's Heritage, McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, and they're also the General Douglas MacArthur Foundation is looking for a development manager, and the Virginia Children's Choir is looking for an assistant choir manager.
Absolutely. Suffolk Public Library, they need a library learning and staff development coordinator part-time. And then you have a job that's closing 826 at the Suffolk Public Library, a library experience assistant manager.
Versability is looking for the director of community living and an administrative assistant.
James Berry Robinson Center, they need a family engagement case worker. The Virginia Living Museum, they need an education director, a maintenance technician as well.
The American Dream Theater, Ziegler American Dream Theater, looking for an office manager and for kids, looking for a prevention diversion specialist.
All right. We have the Weston Tidewater Free Clinic. They need a director of development. And for kids, a family case manager, an intake specialist as well.
Christian Broadcasting Net.
One housing program navigator is needed, and the Boys and Girls Club of Southeast Virginia program leaders and the Boys and Girls Club. That's what's happening there.
Armed Services YMCA and YWCA is looking for school age care, and the director of clinic services Why Women Purposes Economy Empowerment Academy Manager.
Okay, they also need counselors 1 and 2. And then Nauticus, they need Associate Director of Annual Giving and Donor Services, a Group Sales Manager as well.
And the Southeastern Service of Southeastern Virginia is looking for a maintenance technician, an event coordinator, and event staff posting person.
All right, Virginia Living Museum maintenance technician, event coordinator, event staff posting, and these jobs go on and on. Guess what? They're already listed on our pages, personal pages, on FYI's page, on LinkedIn, you name it. You can go there and get it, share it, tell folk about it. These are great jobs, and they're open for a while. Eventually, they will close, but we will have more, as many as we can. We'll be posting monthly, weekly, and you all come and get these wonderful jobs. Today, after this great job list, we're going to have a subject. It's FYI Radio Shows, Fun Friday, Women's Issues. Issues concerning us women. I say that different when I say about the men. But yeah, this is a great topic, Mr. E. But it's a serious topic. It's why do some women not want kids? That's a good question. I was going and looking at some things online, and I came across someone mentioning, how they didn't want kids, and they didn't find it quite odd, but there are some people that do. Usually with women, you would think that would be something that a woman would want. But many women are choosing not to reason. The choice is becoming more and more widely accepted. Some women experience a natural lack of maternal instinct, while others prioritize personal have experienced negative experience with their own parents or have other personal reasons that lead them to decide against having children.
Well, here's more details breakdown. Personal reasons, lack of material instinct. Some women simply do not feel the desire to have children and don't want to experience the typical maternal instinct.
Absolutely.
Some folks just don't. Some folks you can't. Some folks just don't want kids, but it's sometimes you got to remember they don't know how to. Some people don't know how to prioritize personal freedom and lifestyle. Some women value their independence, the ability to pursue hobbies and travel freely, and the lack of responsibility that comes with raising children. Some folks just don't want no youngins and don't want to see the fruit of their labor. Some folks are saying it's I got other things to do.
Well, recent surveys indicate a rising trend of women choosing not to have children. A 2023 Pew Research Center study found that 21% of childless women aged 18 to 34 do not want to become parents. And a 2024 study by the Institute for Family Studies found that 14% of women under 35 say they don't want children. Key reasons cited for this choice include wanting to focus on other things like a career, concerns about the state of the world, and financial issues. You know who decided, who is rich as I don't know what, she's a billionaire, and she decided a while back, not to even go down that road, and that's Miss Oprah Winfrey. She chose not to have children because she felt she wouldn't have been a good mother due to her demanding career and a lack of patience with babies. She also has slated that she felt she wasn't mothered well and recognized the immense responsibility of parenthood. Oprah Winfrey has instead focused her maternal energy on the students at her Leadership Academy for Girls in South Africa.
That's amazing how folks are not having children because they looking at their past of how they was raised and the impact that their parents had on them. Folks fail to realize there is no book whatsoever out there to teach you how to be a parent. There is no information on the right way or the wrong way to raise your children. And so I believe that some of these parents are raising their children the best way they know how. They're surviving because some daddies and some mamas are not even connected. So when Oprah Winfrey began to look back and saw the way that she stated that the way she was parenthood, how her mama raised her, and with all that they had going on, I mean,
grandma raised her because mama didn't have time.
But look at her now. Because of who grandmama raised her, whoever raised her, the community raised her, or whoever raised her, she comes to be one of the richest women
absolutely
in the world.
I wonder if she has regrets. I wonder, if she feels like there are some other women that are high profile who kind of have regrets or things didn't go the way they thought. Vivica Fox is another one who chose not to have children, and a little later in her life she was more like hey, I didn't do that, I kind of wish I would have. And so you find people for so many different reasons not wanting to go down that road. Some people are just adamant about it. It's like, listen, that is not for me. I'm not having children, and don't pressure me. And that's where sometimes the problem comes in at. Are there pressures from society? Yes, people feel like a woman should naturally, ordinarily have a child. It's like they feel like that's something that should be built in us. But because of the times and because of different reasons, like we stated, women said, that's not really a choice that you have to, something that you have to do.
I found out that so many women that they don't want children at the early age, but later age, they want a child. They would like to have children at the latter age after their bodies has been through the mill and too. That's why so much so many complications. I heard, I don't know how true this may be, that once you get 40 45 years old going into your 50, that sometimes when you having a child, it causes them to have some type of mental illness and cause them to have problems in life because mama done got a little bit too old to have that child.
Well, I'm sure there's a number of people that may experience of that. But as long as you can produce what it takes to have a child, usually you can still have a healthy child. That's if you have the equipment and the things there to have that child. That's part of a myth and stereotype that anybody have a child over 40 is going to have a down, a person of have some kind of syndrome. But those are things that don't necessarily have to happen. But getting back to our people and single mothers, sometimes married people, married mothers feel like no, don't want it. But social persecution of women who choose not to have children is rooted deeply in ingrained social norms, historical expectation, and cultural beliefs. Like I just said, you would feel like, hey, everybody wants a child, but those things are something that society say you have to do, but not necessarily you have to do it. Historically, a woman's primary role was often defined by motherhood, and having children was seen as her fundamental duty to have family and society. The perspective known as let's see, what's the name of it? Pronatal, and I'm going to spell it for you. Pronatalism is still prevalent in many cultures and is reinforced uh, uh, part by men's systems, which view women as resources for reproduction. And as a result, women who reject this traditional role are often labeled as selfish, unfeminine, or incomplete, and are seen as defying deeply held social expectation. And this can lead to various forms of social stigma, including judgment from family and peers, and even professional repercussions. You don't have no kids. What's wrong with you? You don't want no kids. Why you don't have no kids? Right? How old are you? And so this is a judgment that's put on people that make that decision not to have them.
There are other reasons why people choose the lifestyle that they want: personal fulfillment,
Mm-hmm.
freedom, relationship satisfaction, fear of responsibility, fear of childbirth and motherhood, then social and environment factors concerning about the world, economy concern, work-life balance, social pressure and expectation. There's and a trauma, they health concerns, lack of material instinct. There are several reasons why that women choose not to have children. Just like, for example, one of the top rankings was that personal fulfillment. Some women find fulfillment and happiness in careers, hobbies, travel, and other pursuits that they're prioritized over parenthood. So some folks like what their personal like and their personal choices are all about. They really don't really want to involve themselves or tie themselves down to having babies and where they cannot fulfill their lifestyle or their personal gain.
Yeah, having children is a big responsibility. This is a job that is 24/7. It definitely is. And you have to be committed because you're going to be serving these children until they get grown. And so if you really into your career, making money, and feel like, hey, that's just a little bit too much for me, then you make that choice. And there's nothing wrong with not having children. You don't have to have them. It's a personal choice, and it's something that is a gift. Children are a something that you don't want to add into your life is fine. The thing about it, and I know that we have the powers that be, the political people that are talking now about the population going down and how they want to encourage a certain group of people, I mean, a certain group of women to have children because the population is going down in some races and cultures. And so, it is pressure. Okay, the population needs to stay afloat. We need to stay relevant, and so we're gonna create incentives. I've heard on the streets, create incentives so you all will have more kids. But like we said, people are having less children first of all, then they're having children later, and then women sometimes choose not to have children at all.
Over unlike under the age of 50 is without child, and they unlikely to ever have children. And then while many women who don't have children may just intentions to have them, but was unable to. We folks that can have children, and so many folks cannot have children.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we look at that, there's a lot of people that fear of having children because of a fear of childbirth and motherhood. Some women may have a genuine fear of pregnancy, childbirth, or the changing that change in chances that motherhood brings. Some folks just don't want that responsibility because they're fearing that they may not be able to take care of those children. So what happens is they don't want to have no children. They changes their mind and they're fretful of the responsibility of a child.
Well, there are some that are not having kids because they don't want that figure eight to turn into a figure O. There are some people, profile people that are using surrogates that say, listen, I got to keep this body in shape. I don't want to go through it. Or either sometimes medically, a woman will choose a surrogate, for, because her insides or her body, it doesn't function like it should, the health of the baby and things like that. But some people are choosing not to physically, like I say, birth the baby for those reasons of keeping that body intact and continuing to look good. I'm not going to name them, but there's quite a few that have said out their mouths that they do not want to wreck what they got because they're high profile. They need their body to make money, in the Hollywood and stuff like that. And so they choose another route.
There's another question that comes to the minds of many. It says, is it natural for women not to want kids? No, it's not natural.
Why not?
It is it is not unnatural to lack a desire for having children. People have reversible feelings and beliefs.
Are you saying it's
about
not natural or natural?
It is natural for women not to want
Okay.
kids.
Cool.
It's natural. It is natural for people not to want a child because of their feelings and belief about parenthood, influence and personal experience and culture background and the individual life goals. And some may prioritize their careers and travel and personal freedom. So it is not unnatural for lack of desire for having children.
I know a young lady whose mom, her mother, had about, how many kids did they have? I think about 18. And she was like, if you have been raised up with 18 siblings and you're the oldest, would you want to have children? She was like, H, no. I am not, I don't want to see another diaper. I don't want to see another bottle. I don't, because the responsibility of that oldest child, you talking about mom keep, having baby year after year, twins and triplets and stuff like that. That child is saying, listen, I've had enough babies. And she refused. She did not have any children. I think she may be in her 60s at this point, but she was a young woman that said, no, no, no. That's not for me. Been there and I've done that. And my mom was the one that brought all these children in the world, and I was responsible to help take care of them.
Is there any consequences of not having children?
I don't know. I think if that person is, I think the only consequence could be regret. A woman sitting back and saying, "I wish," or or not having that name or that lineage that come through you. Where it stops right there with you. You don't have an offspring. You don't have, but it all depends, like we said, on the woman. Is she able to just be strong enough to say, listen, whether there's a name that comes after me, a legacy or whatever, I don't care. I'm not worried. Just like Oprah. Oprah said, listen, I'm investing in all these young ladies. I'm leaving a legacy. I don't have to birth the child to have a legacy. And I have a legacy as a mother. She feels as though she has mothered all these young women that are coming out of college. She's invested, she's put money up, and she's nurtured them. She feels like she is a mother.
According to research, they said not having children can lead to a range of social, personal, and healthy related consequences. These can include and increase certain health issues like breast cancer, but also potentially reduces the risk for others like cardiovascular diseases. See, some of these things have to do with your body. Your body functions in a certain way, so they simply saying there are related consequences. These can include risk of several health issues like breast cancer.
Well, there is some risk to anything, but children, I mean, that's a natural part of life. And, I'm sure that women will take that chance of a risk, you know, by any means. I mean, most women that I know don't think about it like that. I mean, there are women, like you said, that think about it like, oh, I may end up with this, but most women, just that strong desire to have a child is what it takes to, to really want to go through uh, to having them.
Here are some health related consequences it can risk of a certain cancer. It potentially impact on mental pause, cardiovascular health, and other health reasons that can cause when not the consequences of not bearing children. They said some studies suggested that a correlation between not having a child and an increased risk of certain cancer, such as ovarian and in cancer, can cause when you don't have child can be a health be consequences when you don't have children. And then they said something about impact on menopause. Pregnancy and childbearing can influence the timing and the experience of menopause for some women. So, and then when it comes to the cardiovascular health, research indicated a possible link between childbearing and cardiovascular health, with some studies showing that women who have had children may have a high risk of cardiovascular disease.
Now, these things may be true.
That's
surveys, some of those, may be true, but the majority of women are going to, choose to have or not have, like we said, for so many, many, many reasons. And the choice of not having them is becoming acceptable in some cases.
So do you throw what God said be fruitful and multiply.
You can be fruitful in so many ways. You
No,
have to
no, no.
be a
When
child. Now,
but
come on now.
but he was not speaking on in other ways. He was speaking on childbearing.
An individual that doesn't have children or get married, they can tend to the things of God. You don't have to have no child to be fruitful and multiply, honey. You got to just be fruitful and multiply. You can care for your nieces, nephews if you want to. You don't have to care for nobody but yourself if you want to. And that ain't throwing the Bible nowhere. It is just a matter of preference and a choice. You don't have to have a child, but many, many women choose to. But I tell you what, the population is going down, and not only that, like I said, people are choosing careers. Some people just want to be, they want to have a companionship, or they want to be married, or they just want that single life, and they don't want all the responsibilities of having children. Not wrong. It's just your preference. And so, this is what's happening, and it's becoming something that is going to be the norm. The population is going down, and people are just going to choose. Women are just going to say, "Look, that ain't for me." So, look, it's your choice. But I tell you what, it's going to be a beautiful weekend. Make sure you have one, and make sure you come back here on Monday for Monday Sports Talk. Have a blessed day. See you on Monday.
For the past 30 minutes, you've been listening to the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world, the FYI Radio Show, with your host, Miss Yolanda the Lady Hinton. Don't forget to join us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9:30 to 10, right here on all social media platforms, WPCE, WGPL, WMVA, Peace 95.3. And don't forget to have a wonderful weekend. Bye now.
Hello, Chef Dennis. God bless you. Thank you for joining us this morning. Let's see who else is on Facebook. Look, by the way, we have some upcoming shows. You all make sure you tune in to our After Dark shows in a little bit. The time is going to change, and we're going to be there for you live. In the meantime, we're going to be doing our FYI After Dark Monday replays of our sports talk. And then around the town, when we get back live around the town, Everette, community news and events, me hot topics. I got some things I really want to get into with the hot topic series. Cryptocurrency. Mr. Baker will be on Monday, September, on a Monday. Money and more. Cryptocurrency, relationships. Of course, our day morning live shows, Wednesday men's issues, women's issues on Fun Friday. If you have suggestions, inbox us and let us know. Also, you can be a special guest, intern, or sponsor with FYI Radio Show.
If you'd like to be a special guest, intern, or sponsor of the most talked about radio show in the world, all you have to do is pick up the telephone and call 757-714-7861, or you can inbox us at Edward Every Facebook page, Miss Yolanda Lady Hinton Facebook page, or FYI Facebook page, or you can email if you want to be in the audience of FYI. All you have to do is email us your email, and we email you back at FYIRadioShowLive@gmail.com.
All those that are viewing us that I don't see, God bless you. Thank you for your support. And make sure you all have a blessed day. Make sure you look at some sports. Come back with us on Monday Sports Talk, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
2 up, 2 down, VA.